What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Bevy.
And I'm Becky. Okay, Bev, here's a question.
Okay.
Let's say your relationship went to shit with Craig.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like absolute garbage.
Yes, I hear
You're
you.
desperate. You need a way out.
Okay.
You decide you're going to poison him. What are you going to use?
Ooh.
I mean, like, don't get excited
Oh.
there. Ooh, what would I do?
Um, let's say antifreeze.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I feel like that might be the only thing you know how to poison people with.
That's so true, Becky. That's exactly what it was. I was like, hmm. I got all mischievous for nothing because that is the only thing I know. But you know what? It's so overdone that I would totally get busted.
You would.
Craig's like a pretty healthy guy.
Yeah.
I'd have to
And
figure
they
something else out.
And it's really like identifiable in an autopsy bed, the crystals.
Yeah, you're right. I
The
know.
crystals.
You
Okay, well,
know, I don't know. You know what it'd have to be, Becky? Our relationship would have to be going to shit, but like I wouldn't be able to tell anyone, and I would have to fake that everything was so good, like even to Craig, but secretly down deep I hated him, so that even if he did die of my antifreeze poisoning, um, people would be like, their marriage was great, like so good.
like zero motive.
Yeah, like zero motive,
Uh,
like they were so in love.
okay, so you'd still use the antifreeze, but you would just act like there was no problem. Kind of
Yes.
set the scene that you have zero motive.
Yes,
All right.
exactly. And I
Okay.
sure as hell wouldn't have a side piece because that's just like guilty right there, you know?
Guilty.
Yeah, I'd wait 2 years until after his death to be like, oh, I guess I'll seek love out again.
My God. I feel
I
like I can't even take you seriously right now.
I feel like I'm enjoying this too much.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love my husband. I just told him yesterday, I don't know what I would do without you. I just love you. There is no world in which I would want to be on this earth when you're not a part of my life. So I
Yeah.
love you, Craig. And no one think I'm gonna murder him.
This is purely hypothetical, and Bev didn't actually know I was going to ask her
Just
about
kidding.
poisoning Craig.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Becky was like, I'm gonna throw you off. Little did she know. I was prepared. Okay. Becky,
Okay. Yeah.
Becky, what would you use?
Uh, Cyanide.
Oh my God, look at you. Why? Why?
Well, it's not as traceable in like that initial autopsy, so I feel like that would be the best, and it causes
Hmm.
like some pretty bad things to happen. So I feel like there could be other explained reasons why your partner may have died.
Okay.
But
Whoa.
in also my defense, I would not kill Jamie, no matter
True.
how bad life got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in this very hypothetical situation, yeah, cyanide for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, good choice, I guess.
thanks, Bevy.
I'm guessing that today is about a poisoning case.
Oh, you got it.
Because why the fuck else would you
Would
be
we be
asking
talking
me?
about this?
Yeah. All
Well,
right. Well,
you're
then,
absolutely right.
before we get into that, let's have a quick sister chat.
Okay, I learned about something this week.
Okay. Good. Glad. Keep
Yeah.
the brain
Uh,
young.
okay, well, you might change what you just said to me after you find
Why?
out what it is.
What?
Did you know that there is a whole genre of books, maybe movies, I don't know. It's all about dinosaur erotica.
What?
The most notable title that I have found was triceratops, and bottoms.
Oh my God, that's great. That's
I
great.
know, I
Oh,
know.
that's uh, hmm.
Can't catch a
I
joke.
like no, it's just that I am refraining from like
But
you know what I
Bevy,
mean?
Bevy.
I'm sorry. It's like I can't. It gives too many visuals is the thing, you know? Like I don't know. It's like I can't say much, but I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot.
Okay, I just have to say, we recently started doing our video podcasts,
Yes, yeah.
which has been quite an experience for us both. Um, but I feel like anyone who watches our podcast is gonna get to know us a lot better from
True.
like the things that we do as we're talking that you don't necessarily get to see.
Yeah.
Because like Bev, what she just did was like,
Becky, I didn't do that, okay?
what? Is
I
that not
didn't
what
do
you were doing?
it was like a thrusting motion, not like a
Either
like
way.
whatever you
Yeah. Oh God. I'm mortified right now. This is happening.
I'm
I
so
really thought
happy.
you were doing that. I was first mortified that you even did that. And then I can't believe I just like reenacted it incorrectly. Fuck.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that was the best thing in the entire world. Oh my God. I'm
I'm
so
dying.
happy. Hell yes.
Oh
Oh my God, that was so good.
no.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't get over it. I have like a ball of laughter in my tummy that I'm like holding back because like I don't want people to just listen to me laugh for 5 minutes straight, but like, whew, I got like I'm gonna have to just like regulate. I need
Usa,
to
usa.
regulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. So
I
that's so fucked up though. Like I can't even. That's craziness.
yeah, it's a genre. So like
Wow.
this lady writes them. I almost wanted to just like buy it and read it just to like see, but not really, you know?
Yeah, you're like, do I want to spend time doing that? But also like I'm pretty curious. Totally get that, Becky.
Yeah, like I wonder if it's like really cheesy or not.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I've never heard of anything like this. How did you hear about this? I have to ask.
Yeah, it's a bit of a like a wormhole. One of
Yeah.
my one of my friends, she got a photo sent to her and it was you know those old like gumball machines? And you
Yes.
would like put a quarter in, you get a bunch of gumballs or like a little plastic toy. Now, it's somewhere in Canada. I have no idea where, but she got sent this photo and it was dinosaur erotica toys. And so she went down this wormhole and then she's like, did you know that there's dinosaur erotica books? Because it kind of all just like went into that.
Of
And so
course.
then we were looking up all the titles and like the one book has like almost 500 sales
Oh,
on
wow.
Amazon.
Oh,
So maybe
okay.
she's like doing well for herself. It's also on Kindle.
Oh, snap. Like who would have thought? Could you imagine telling your family like about that?
Just around the dinner. So what are you guys reading lately? Tops and bottoms.
So, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what was that?
And tops and bottoms.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to
like
talk. Like, it'd be weird.
interesting. So
Interesting to say the
yeah,
least.
that's what I learned about this week. That's a real genre. So, if that tickles anyone's fancy, you're welcome for letting you know it's out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
You can get it on Amazon. All right.
Well,
Wow.
Bev,
I can't top that. I just can't top that. So,
you can't
like,
top it?
Okay, let's just move on, Becky. Let's get into
Yeah.
the case
All
because that
right.
was outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. All right. Well, today's case takes us to Dana Point, California, in South Orange County. And on January 24th, 1988, 46-year-old Janet Overton collapsed outside her family home while loading the family van up for an outing with her teenage son. Now, Janet's 17-year-old son, Eric, saw everything. He urgently called for his dad, Richard, and the two of them helped Janet back inside into the bathroom. Janet became violently ill, and Eric and Richard called 911. When first responders arrived at the Overton residence, they rushed Janet to the hospital. She was in really bad shape, and after about an hour at the hospital, Janet was pronounced dead. And obviously, when Richard and Eric found out, they were completely gutted. Now, what we do need to know is that in the months leading up to Janet's death, she was in and out of San Clemente Hospital. She was frequently ill. She experienced skin irritation all over her body, nausea, vomiting, and internal bleeding. Each time Janet was admitted, her illness seemed to get worse, and each time it also took her longer to recover. But mysteriously, her blood work never showed that there was anything wrong, and everyone was left just scratching their head. Now, when Janet passed away, an, op- an autopsy was performed, and once again, nothing was found. So, why had she died? The medical examiner decided to preserve a couple tissue samples just in case they were needed in the future, and then Janet was cremated not long after. Because Janet's death was a little confusing and a little suspicious, the medical examiner refused to label any cause of death. So her case file remained open until they were able to definitively label her cause of death,
Right.
which
So
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, and they're taking tissue, obviously not giving her a cause of death. I feel like they're definitely leaving room for further investigation, but also like it does seem like they're super suspicious about her death. Like maybe something like that, something more sinister could have happened just because they're taking all the precautions necessary to leave space for that possibility. At
Yeah.
least that's what it seems like to me.
Oh, it for sure seems that way. Well, at the time of Janet's death, she and Richard had been married for 19 years. For the majority of their relationship, Janet was a stay-at-home mom, and she had somewhat recently decided to return to work. Janet and Richard were well known in the community, but they were polar opposites. Janet was an easy person to get along with, and everyone liked her. She was caring, generous, and she was highly intelligent. She also served on the school board and had become the president of the school board.
Since going back
Yeah,
to work?
yeah,
Wow. Good for
yeah.
her.
I know, right?
Yeah, she's thriving.
She's thriving. She's doing well. Which I think a lot of women actually struggle to go back into the workforce, hey?
Probably after being a stay-at-home mom for such a long time, like I could imagine it would be tough actually.
Yeah, like what do you do? Where do you go?
Yeah, but she seems to have like figured it out and
Yeah,
is just excelling, so good on her.
exactly. So Richard, on the other hand, he was super intelligent, but he wasn't nearly as well liked as Janet. Now, he had a PhD in psychology. He worked as a mathematician and a computer consultant, as well as a lecturer. So people who knew Richard described him as a smart but cavalier individual. He truly believed that he was better than most people. And there had been several instances where people witnessed him in social situations walking away from someone mid-sentence if he felt like they were not at his same intellectual level.
Oh my
Could you
God.
imagine, Bev?
No, I'd be like, I'd for sure be walked away from. Like, I might be book smart, but I don't know if I come across as like all that intelligent. I mean, literally, I am so embarrassing. A little side note here, because I don't know if like you guys don't know me or my husband that well, but my husband and has a brother, and his brother is very, very smart. And so is his brother's wife, actually. And we were at a family dinner recently, and I was talking about how like like sugar that like processed sugar that's in like candy bars and stuff is like worse for my baby than sugar from fruit.
Right. Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Thinking, yeah, like that's just obvious. And I was told that glucose is glucose is glucose.
You idiot.
It's the same
God.
fucking compound, god damn it. Uh, Now, they did go on to say that, of course, there's nutrients in fruit that are going to be really good for the baby. And that's probably why fruit is better in general, but that the sugar is not different.
Bev's like, I'm not feeding my baby sugar. Eat the raspberries,
Well, I
Colson.
know I knew there was sugar in them. Don't get me wrong. But like, could you
Oh, good.
imagine? Like I say that, I'm halfway through the sentence and the Cameron just like walks away, rolls his eyes. It's like, get me out of this.
He's like, she's dumb as
This
shit.
frickin' idiot over
I'm
here.
actually going home now.
Yeah, like, oh God, can't even be in the same room as her. Fuck.
Oh God. I would be so mortified if someone did that to me and be like, oh my God, I'm literally so stupid. Oh my God. Someone just walked away mid-conversation,
Yeah,
mid-sentence. Like,
yeah. I
you're
would
like,
be
no, too
mortified.
dumb.
Yeah, I would also just be like, you're a jerk. And now I get why people didn't like him, because like, what the fudge? That's rude as hell.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
So,
like people don't like feeling like they're less than other people.
no,
And for someone to like go out of their way to make someone feel like that is like a dick move.
it is a dick move, Bev. You're absolutely right. So you can imagine the type of relationship maybe that Janet and Richard have, you know?
Yeah, she's sweet. He's kind of like rough around the edges, like maybe, I mean, but it was said they were both intellectual, and obviously he married her. So, like, he obviously probably thinks she's at least intellectual because he has to be with her every day. But maybe he's a little condescending, I could imagine.
I almost 100% guarantee he's condescending, Beth.
Right?
If he has the balls to be able to walk away just mid-sentence, imagine what he's with like with his wife.
Yeah,
Do you
like
know
if
how
you're in
many
a fight with
conversations,
somebody,
right?
you don't think they're right. You're like, wow, what a stupid reason to be upset.
You're
Bye.
an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't even end conversations that's like, well, I can, but like I have a hard time finding like the right exit time in like a normal conversation, never mind just walking away. So imagine what he'd do to like you're always a little bit more like less reserved around your partner,
True. True that,
right?
Becky. True
So
that.
I bet he's an even bigger dick to her, but I don't know them. Maybe
There's
I'm wrong.
speculation. I mean, we're
Yeah,
kind of therapizing the couple here, but
just saying. What I know is that he's probably a dick. All right. So back to the case. 18 months after Janet passed away, investigator Tim Carney was transferred from undercover narcotics to the homicide department. On his very first day, he began reviewing cold case files. One of the first files that he grabbed happened to be that of Janet Overton. As he worked his way through the rest of the material, another case caught his attention. It was from decades earlier. It had originally been handled by retired detective Cliff Miller, and it involved a woman named Dorothy Boyer. Now, she had come to Detective Miller because she suspected she was being poisoned by her ex-husband. Now, the reason this case stood out to Detective Carney was because Dorothy's ex-husband was none other than Richard Overton. Now, back in the day, Richard and Dorothy had met. They fell in love in Texas, and they eventually relocated to Orange County. Together, they built what looked like the ideal suburban life. They had 4 children, a home in Capistrano Beach, a home that Richard really loved. He even personally designed an addition to the home. This was supposed to be his forever home, and he was deeply attached to it. At that time, Richard worked as a mathematician and a computer consultant. He also worked part-time as a lecturer at Cal State in the computer science and psychology departments. Richard also frequently claimed he subcontracted for the CIA. This was entirely fabricated, but people believed it because he was fluent in both Russian and Spanish.
Okay, so he's a dick and a fucking liar.
2 strikes, Richard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But also, like, what the, why? Like, why? How is he, like, fluent in both Russian and Spanish?
He's a
Like,
smart guy, Bevy.
okay, but there's a lot of smart people out there and they're not fluent in, like, a bunch of different languages.
I know.
Like,
I'm
I'm
smart
just,
and I only know one language.
it's like, did he take it upon himself to go learn these different languages? Because, like, I mean, if that's the case, whoa. But
Yeah, good for you.
also, like, what is this guy doing? Like, he's a successful dude in general, right? Like, why
Yeah,
is he fabricating some bullshit story? Like, does he have self-esteem issues or does he just like to like manipulate people? You know, like,
maybe. Yeah.
what's the purpose of lying about that?
Not a clue, Bevy. Just not a clue.
I don't know. To me, it's like you want to seem better than you are.
100%.
So it seems to me like a self-esteem issue. Anyways, that's just
Most
my
likely.
thoughts there.
Your 2 cents. All right. So in this relationship, Dorothy believed that she was in a committed marriage, but Richard was living a second life. In 1966, while still married to Dorothy, he married another woman under a false name. Her name was Caroline Draper. Not only did he marry her, he also had a daughter with her as well. Carolyn lived about 40 minutes away from Dorothy, but completely unaware that they were sharing a husband.
My God. And there's strike three.
Strike three. Now, Richard maintained this deception by telling both of these women that his job required frequent travel and that he might be gone for 1 to 2 weeks at a time. Dorothy would dutifully drive him to the airport. And then, roughly 30 minutes later, at the same airport, Carolyn would pick him up. And he maintained this back and forth for like a year and a half.
Wow.
And he was totally able to rotate between 2 different families without either woman knowing.
That is so messed up.
I know. Now, eventually, Carolyn and Dorothy learned about each other and the truth began to unravel. And in 1968, Carolyn had the marriage annulled and Dorothy then filed for divorce.
Yeah, they're not in the business of sharing a man.
Yeah, it's not what they signed up for.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Isn't that so? I think that's so messed up when like someone cheats and they have a baby with that person.
Oh God.
I mean, this whole situation is bunged up, but like
I
specifically.
feel like that's the ultimate betrayal right there because at the end of the day, it's like if someone cheats, you have the opportunity to maybe fix it or choose to fix it if you want, right? Like that happens
Hmm.
all the time. But if they have a kid with somebody else, it takes a piece of, like, I don't know, a piece of your, I don't know if I'm trying to say heart, future, but like that's just gotta sting a little bit deeper because it's like you thought you would be the person they would have a child with, right?
Hmm.
You thought you would be the only person that you'd have kids with that person, like
Yeah.
unless they had kids from a previous marriage or something, like you thought
Whole other story,
you're
right?
making your own unit, your own family.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, for sure.
then all of a sudden to like share that with somebody, I don't know. It's just like that would be way tougher than if someone just cheats on you.
100% Bevy. Now, this might sound funny, but the divorce hit Richard pretty hard and where it hurt the most. Dorothy was awarded custody of their children as well as their family home in Capistrano Beach. The home Richard so proudly designed,
Mm.
and he was pissed right off Bev with that. And not just about the house, but about the humiliation of being divorced. Now, most people might have accepted the consequences of their own deception, but Richard, he did not. So, after the divorce was finalized in 1973, Dorothy started to get sick fairly regularly. She noticed she would get sick after drinking coffee, tea, or wine, and the sickness would surge pretty intensely, and then it would just kind of go away. And this cycle repeated itself for years. Over time, Dorothy began noticing something else. These episodes often coincided with Richard's visitation with their children at the family home. During those visits, he would kind of hover around the kitchen, and it kind of started to make Dorothy think about like what's going on. And then as this pattern repeated, her suspicions crystallized into fear. She wondered if she was or if he was trying to kill her. So, with these suspicions, Dorothy went to the police and she spoke with Detective Cliff Miller. She explained her suspicions, but at the end of the day, she had no evidence and their hands were kind of tied. But Detective Miller devised a fairly simple plan. He instructed Dorothy to purchase a new container of coffee on her way home. Once there, she was to just like draw a little straight line with a permanent marker, and it was to cross over the lid and the actual container. A line that would only be aligned if the container had never been opened.
Mm.
And so then she was to leave it on the counter during Richard's next visit. And if the line was broken afterwards, she was to bring it directly to the detective for fingerprints and toxin analysis. So Dorothy
Sneaky.
followed, very right. Well, Dorothy followed these instructions exactly. And after Richard's next visit, she noticed the line on the coffee container was out of line. So she brought the coffee to Detective Miller. Richard's fingerprints were found on the container, and the coffee itself tested positive for selenium. Now, I'm assuming, Bevy, you do not know what selenium is.
Well, obviously.
Otherwise, you might have tried to poison Craig with it.
Yeah, exactly. Hello. In our little hypothetical at the beginning of
Yeah.
this, I may have said it. Okay, well, tell me what it is then.
All right. So, selenium is a substance that, in trace amounts, is actually necessary for our cellular function in humans and animals, but a slightly higher dose becomes toxic.
Mm.
Both elemental selenium and selenium salts can cause significant harm in small quantities. Some of the symptoms of selenium poisoning include gastrointestinal distress, fatigue, hair loss, and neurological damage. And in higher doses can kill someone. So you can see why Dorothy was probably getting so sick. So now that Dorothy's suspicions have pretty much been confirmed that Richard, in fact, had been poisoning her, she confronted him. She was like, I know what you've been doing. You've been trying to poison and kill me. And of course, Richard, being Richard,
Richard
the dick, he
denies everything.
completely denies everything.
Motherfucker.
I know. So Dorothy told him that they actually had proof and warned him if he continued, he was going to be going to jail. Dorothy agreed not to press charges if he stopped. So he stopped. And eventually Richard moved on and met his third wife, Janet.
Dang, like she's a badass, Dorothy is.
Yeah,
Look at her
confronts her
go.
attempted killer ex-husband.
Yeah,
Like, way to go, lady,
yeah, you get it, girl.
right? Also, I do wonder, like, I know that's like a good test to like confirm their suspicions, but I'm
Mm.
pretty sure that's not like legal in the actual like court of law. Like, it's like proof, you know? But I'm like, I wonder if they had actually arrested him and charged him with attempted murder or just poisoning or whatever, if they could have done anything about it because it wasn't like a super controlled way to
Little
get evidence.
experiment.
Yeah.
It's true, but either way, it's like
Gave
it's
them
enough to
fucking
scare him.
leverage.
Yeah,
It's all about
totally.
leverage, Bev.
I know. Oh, I know.
So, as Detective Tim Carney, the new detective in the homicide unit,
Yes.
sat reading through Dorothy's case file, a thought began to form. What if Janet Overton's death wasn't the medical mystery it had initially appeared to be?
Yep.
What if history repeated itself?
True that.
So, as we know, the medical examiner had preserved tissue samples before Janet was cremated, so Detective Carney had something to work with. He sent those samples off for testing, and the results came back with traces of cyanide and selenium.
Oh my God. So he's like, he brought in a whole nother poison. He's
Yep.
like, it didn't work the first time with just selenium. So let me up the ante and get a little cyanide in there for good measure.
Mm. Well, in a bit, I'm going to teach you something about those two poisons that
Oh
is actually
shit.
going to say what you just said completely wrong.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
But it's also horrible. Why?
Oh my God, I need to know this now.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's obviously like it's got to be more deadly in any, like
Mm.
obviously has to be because, poor Janet is dead.
Janet is dead. Yeah. Well, you'll find out in a second. But before, we're going to talk about how Detective Carney, began digging into Janet and Richard's marriage. So, what he uncovered painted a picture of a deeply fractured relationship.
Mm.
There was significant tension between them. They slept in separate rooms. At times, they would go days without speaking to each other. The distance between them had grown so severe that Janet sought companionship elsewhere and began having an affair.
Oh God. So it's like now he's got motive.
Hmm. So, Detective Carney actually met with Eric, their son, and he wanted to kind of get an inside scoop. During their conversation, he asked Eric directly, "Do you think your father killed your mother?" And Eric told him, yeah, he could have. So I think that's a pretty big testament to like maybe like kind of how terrible Richard was. If your son actually is like, yeah, that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So after hearing that, investigators believe they had enough to obtain a warrant for the family home. When they executed the search warrant, they seized 40 handwritten journals belonging to Richard, along with 132 floppy disks, which I don't know if I've actually said floppy disks in a really long time.
There you go. Floppy disks. Say it one
Floppy
more time.
disks. Your
Floppy
floppy
disks.
disks.
Floppy disks. Like, slapping the bass. It's like floppy
Flopping the
disks.
base.
Floppy disks.
Amen. All right. 132. So that's a lot of disks.
Yes.
Now, one of those disks were examined. I mean, they all were, but one had contents that had been deleted. And the,
Ooh.
and even way back in the 80s, Bev, they could still find the deleted material. So,
God.
yeah, joke's on, well, Richard. So they were able to recover the erased material, and what they found was personal diary written by Richard.
Oh my God.
Now, initially he wrote his entries in English and Spanish, but later he had gone and translated them to Russian and then would delete the English versions, leaving only Russian texts behind. So I'm not sure if that was just his way of like keeping up with his Russian abilities or trying to make it harder to read what he wrote.
I feel like my initial instinct was the latter.
Oh, yeah, to kind of disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, I believe that too. So. Now, the entries revealed that Richard was appalled with his wife's success, considering she only had a high school education.
Oh my God. What a fragile
Ugh, fragile
self-esteem this guy
man.
has.
See?
Like
You
he's
called it.
threatened by his wife's success?
I know.
God. Is
Like,
he
you
a
should just,
fucking narcissist? He's gotta be.
I mean, I didn't find anything declaring. that he officially was, but you know,
Well, he's got a fragile ego, I'll say that.
that is the truth.
God dang.
Yeah. And also, like, he has had lots of success on his own, right? Like, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, but
Like,
like
he
he
has
probably felt
PhD, like, that's
like
great.
she didn't deserve it then. He's like, you need to have an education to be successful. Or maybe you
I
have to be
worked
a
so
good fucking
hard.
person, Richard. Maybe you have to be a good fucking well-liked person.
Yeah. There's a reason why on like reality shows, people's social game matters.
Hell yeah.
You know, come on. Now, he in fact mentioned that he felt that she just wasn't deserving of these
Yeah,
successes.
that
So
makes sense.
that's pretty tough. These writings showed a man who was secretive and deeply paranoid as well. They exposed the extent of his disdain for Janet. He wrote extensively about her alleged affairs. He even described in uncomfortable detail how the stress and annoyance of his marriage were affecting his bowel movements. So, like, ew.
My wife
But I
is giving
guess,
me diarrhea.
God
Sorry.
damn,
Like,
backed up all the
obviously, yeah, go ahead,
stress.
write whatever you want. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it is your
It's your
journal.
journal, of course, but also, like, such a weird thing to say.
I mean, stress does have a huge impact on our digestive tract, but
True that.
you know,
I mean, I do believe, like, having an affair is not right.
no.
So I get that that would cause him distress in general. I get it. But
Yeah.
also, like, it does make me a little bit sad for Janet because your husband is supposed to be like your number one supporter. You know, the person who believes in you
Hmm.
and, like, is your biggest cheerleader in life. And that would be really hard to have a husband who just, like, basically hated you and literally
Yeah,
thought you weren't deserving of any success that you had. Like, I don't know. That's just like tough to hear.
for sure. I can see how in more radical situations like that, someone could make that choice to have an affair. It's not right, but like I can see how someone could seek like, oh, just like a little affection, love, support. I can see how it could happen in
Yeah,
those
you could
extreme
yeah,
circumstances.
you could
So,
see the chain of events there that led to the situation at hand.
exactly. So, it was unmistakable. Richard was intensely jealous and insecure. And the diary didn't stop at resentment. It documented how he had been slowly poisoning Janet with selenium and cyanide. According to the entries, Richard understood that cyanide could counteract some of the effects of selenium, slowing down the overall progression of poisoning. So, what that means, Bev, is it allowed him to make her severely ill without immediately killing her. Therefore, it prolonged her suffering as he watched it go down. He wrote that he put cyanide in her beverages and food, and then the selenium in her mascara.
Which, like, whoa, okay.
Like, it was known that she used it like every day. Like,
So, like, it must absorb through just like the skin then, or like,
it, mu-
follicles or whatever.
what did you say? Did you say molecules?
Follicles, like
Oh,
your eyelash follicles. Sorry, I was distracted. Like, little side note to everyone, like the settings we have on Zoom, it's like sometimes it just randomly zooms in. I just saw it like zoom in on you in that moment. I was like, ah,
distracted.
distracted. But yeah, like what? And
Yeah.
okay, I cannot get over what we just heard. Not about the mascara, but about how fucking diabolical Richard is. Like, you hated her that much that you literally found a way to, like, make her suffering by your actions, like, worse. It's like slowly torturing somebody to death because you're enjoying torturing them. Like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? God, like, we knew he was awful, but, like, damn, Richard.
And to put it in perspective, this is the second wife he's done this to.
Yeah.
I mean, not the mascara specifically, but just poison,
Yeah,
right?
obviously the
So
coffee. Hmm.
he must get something big from watching them get so ill and just like being like, he's kind of playing God, be like, I know how much to give you. I know you're not going to die, but you're going to suffer. And I'm going to watch it happen. And he's probably enjoying it every
Yeah,
time.
he's got to. Why else would you choose to do that to somebody?
Exactly.
Like, if you wanted to kill them because you were so resentful, like, you just, not that I agree with this, but you would kill them. You should. But to like slowly watch them suffer, like, that's just a next level. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Now, in this diary, Bev, Richard also listed 17 different men that he suspected Janet of having affairs with. But it was not the case. She had one affair. So this also does show how paranoid he is and maybe like a little delusional, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to think that like in his mind, he's thinking like she slept with 17 men, like this woman is terrible. Like, I, I'm starting to think like maybe like his reality is slightly skewed because like imagine if you found out your partner had cheated with like 17 different men or people. But really, it was just like one affair that she really needed that like emotional connection.
Yeah.
I know it's still wrong. Let's just leave that as a blanket statement. But like, I feel like there would be a difference for someone who's just like going off, getting her jollies off compared to someone who's looking for affection. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
You
I
get
I
what I'm
shouldn't be
saying?
laughing in this moment, but what the fuck is a goddamn jolly?
Jolly.
Getting her jollies on, Becky? Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Is that
Bevy,
like,
don't make me explain this. My God. Do you actually not know?
well, I can infer, but like,
Okay. Then why are you asking me to
'cause what the hell
explain
is
it?
this? What is this saying? I've
This is a
literally
real
never heard
saying.
get your jollies on.
You off.
Off,
Get your jollies off.
whatever.
You have never?
No.
It's a real saying.
I'll take your word for it.
Google it.
But just hearing you say jollies, I really had a hard time just there.
I
Okay.
saw. Yeah,
But you're right in
I'm right.
saying that it's just like so different. Like, and the way he's perceiving the situation is totally not accurate at all and
Yeah,
really depicts Janet in a very, very negative light when, like, you're trying to say is like she just was going through a really tough, partnership with a very fucked up individual, to be quite honest. And it's just way different than what he's making it out to be.
yeah,
And it just like shows again that he just literally does not think well of her.
exactly. Exactly, Bevy. So, also within their investigation, investigators learned that Richard had a business associate, and this man had been involved in, I believe, gold mining and had acquired selenium and cyanide for business purposes. It is used for other things. Obviously, it won't be around, but it was believed that Richard had stolen it from the man's garage. So that's how he obtained it. Because it's not something that everyone can just go and get their hands on, you know?
Right.
It's just not, they're not that type of thing. So he also stole it. So obviously he had really bad intentions here. So after going through all the evidence, Richard Overton was indicted on October 1st, 1991, on charges of first-degree murder for the death of his wife, Janet Overton. And he remained in jail as he awaited trial. On June 9th, 1992, the trial began, and it lasted 7 weeks before it was declared a mistrial. Now, Richard had some minor health complications and he had to go to the hospital, but he only spent like a night there, so it wasn't that bad. But his attorney then argued that Richard was suffering from severe depression. And a psychiatrist evaluated Richard and determined that he was not capable of standing trial for the next 6 months. Like he just was not stable enough. So, after the courts had heard all the arguments and stuff like that, the judge was forced to declare a mistrial. All right, so after the mistrial, It took 3 years to get Richard back in court. And on March 28th, 1995, Richard's new trial began. His new attorney argued that Janet's death was the result of medications that she had been taking for her illnesses leading up to her death. But the prosecution called Dorothy, Richard's ex-wife, as their star witness.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're like, actually, he's done it before, almost
Yes.
identical. So surely he did it this time. They also presented the preserved tissue samples showing selenium and cyanide, and they introduced Richard's own diary entries into evidence, which
Right?
speaks volumes, let's be real.
Oh, 100%.
So a couple weeks later, on May 8th, 1995, and after only 6 hours of deliberation, the jury found Richard guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
No kidding. Especially it's a pattern at this point. Like,
Hmm. Like if he just had, like if he hadn't killed Janet and they got a divorce, he would have just met another woman and then she could have been the victim. Like
totally.
it probably would have happened again as soon as he was really unhappy.
Yeah.
Now, sadly, Dorothy passed away in 1999 from lymphoma,
Oh,
but it sounded like her life was pretty good afterwards, the whole poisoning sitch. Um, but yeah, and she was able to help convict Richard, so that's at least admirable. And then 10 years later, in 2009, Richard Overton died in prison at the age of 81. At the time, he was in hospice care, suffering from complications from diabetes, as well as advanced dementia.
hmm.
What an interesting thing to have after killing someone. Dementia.
Yeah, like
Like,
you
you
wouldn't
might not
even
even know that you were a
remember.
horrible person.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Now, this might be like an unpopular opinion, and I could totally be wrong, but is like paranoia a symptom of dementia? Like, if he had been in prison for, I don't know, what was it, like 14 years before his death,
Hmm.
right? Then what if he was suffering symptoms of dementia then? Not that he like it, not saying it negates like him killing her or anything, but we talked about his paranoia.
Hmm.
I wonder if that like had anything to do with his dementia. Or if it was like a later onset dementia and literally had nothing to do with it, that could be possible too. But I don't know. Just the thought crossed my mind
Interesting question.
because who knows? But
I mean, they do say that there are like some early signs of dementia, like
that's what I'm
in your
saying.
30s and 40s potentially, right?
Yeah. And like this is
So,
only 14, like almost 20 years earlier. So who knows? Who knows? But either way, he was an absolute terrible human being,
mhm.
it seems.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped strike counting his strikes because there was just so many that I was like, wow, I don't need to sound redundant. Like, we get the picture, but geez, terrible human.
Yeah, he definitely did a lot of really nasty things in his life on Earth.
Yeah. It's
So,
almost like Janet's like joyful personality and the success that brought her. Like, he just couldn't stand it. He was like joyful, nice, charismatic. Go fuck yourself.
poisoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are just fucking miserable like that, aren't they, Bev?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally. They,
fucking miserable.
yeah. So don't be like Richard. Everyone, the message today is be like Janet. Be like Janet.
Be a kind, loving woman.
Yeah.
And you know
And
what?
or
You
a
can also
person
be
if you're a
like,
guy.
yeah, yes. And you can also be like Dorothy,
Yeah. Be like Dorothy too.
who just called him out on his bullshit.
Yeah. Dorothy was a badass. Let's not
Yeah.
forget.
That let's not forget.
Because I thought, I was like, wow, that takes some balls right there, or some ovaries. Because I was like, that would be kind of scary. Some guy that you obviously know is trying to hurt you, and you're going to
Yeah.
confront him? I don't know. That's like, yeah,
Scary
that's
to think
wild,
of.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
She did it. And you know what? It's kind of like how, how they say if you like confront your bully,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times just showing that like strength and confidence, like back off, man,
Takes their power away.
takes their power away. I feel like it's kind of the same
Yeah.
concept. I mean, obviously Richard was a bit more than a bully, but
Mm,
same concept.
I get it.
So for
Girl
all you listeners,
power.
like girl
Girl
power,
power.
stay strong and
Yeah.
like stand up for yourself. And um, if you think you're being poisoned, like please tell someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the doctors
Okay.
didn't know, regardless.
That's true. But
Becky had asked me before we started the podcast, she's
oh,
like, Bev, like, what did you ask me? Say again. Sorry, I
I
forget.
said, what would make you think you were being poisoned?
And I was like,
Or I said, how would you know if you were being poisoned?
yeah. And I just was like, I wouldn't. I'd be oblivious to the fact. Like, I'd be like, oh, I feel like shit. Oh, my tummy hurts. Oof.
Oh,
Got the got the vomiting spells. Ugh. Like I would never
oh my
know.
God.
I feel like it's one thing you just wouldn't know because all the symptoms are, I don't know, something that people do experience like throughout their life. So you'd be like,
I mean, that's very true.
yeah,
How would you really know unless you, and also, you know, we've talked about in our podcast, it's like, why would you ever think that someone's action would like depict them as a murderer, right? Because we're so
yeah,
naive. You don't think that someone just throwing trash on the side of the road is someone disposing of a body or something like that. But
exactly.
it's like the same concept with poisoning. Why would you think someone close to you would be poisoning you over and over and over again?
Right. But if you get a sneaking suspicion, it is better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah,
And it doesn't hurt nobody to check it out. The worst
that
case scenario
is
is
the
that you're
truth.
wrong. And like, thank God if you are.
Yeah, thank God if you are. So, well, Bev, this is the case of Janet Overton. And I'm glad this case was solved because it could have not, you know?
Yeah, it could have easily flew under the radar.
Yeah. So I want to say I love you hugely
I love you hugely.
and thanks for listening. And we love all our listeners hugely. Until next time.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.